What's the best advice I could give to somebody who wants to be a professional artist? Draw every day. This might seem a little too obvious or cliche even, though it certainly worked for me. When I was growing up, I never really felt like I had positive role models in my life. Most all the adults I knew woke up early to strap on boots, to leave the house before the sun, to go to miserable jobs, living out meaningless, miserable lives. I had a lot of anxiety and existential depression surrounding the idea that this might be the inevitability of my life. I had one friend whose father was a tattoo artist. He was a much older man, married with children. He managed to support his entire household off of just his income. He seemed to genuinely enjoy his life and spent a lot of his off time riding Harley motorcycles, listening to metal and punk, watching good movies, and collecting martial arts memorabilia and weapons. He was one of the only adults I had ever met in real life who had a life that resembled something I would like for myself. So I decided that no matter what it took, I was going to be a professional artist, and I decided to set down some ground rules for myself, starting with that I was going to draw every single day until I figured it out. Firstly, I decided that I was only going to draw in hardbound books, meaning nothing with a spiral backing so I could easily pull out pages if I didn't like the way my drawing was going. I also decided I was only going to draw in pen, no pencils, and this made me really have to own my drawings and make sure that I was progressing and work through any issues I was having during the drawing. I also didn't limit myself to only drawing, allowed myself to do painting and collage within the books as long as I finished at least one page per day. I also allowed myself to write and explore ideas that were haunting my head at the time. Everything from the music I was listening to the books I was reading, to the people I hung around with, and the places I went, influenced these books. Over the last decade and a half, these books have amassed to well over 40 books. Each one for me represents a different time, place, spiritual evolution point, artistic evolutionary point for me, on my way to where I currently am. A successful artist who owns his own studio and pays his bills and makes a living off of art every single day. And it's funny because people often ask me what I do for my quote-unquote real job. And I must admit, it's fairly surreal to say that I just draw for a living, whether that be on skin or on paper or an iPad. I just make art for a living. That's all I do. Magic is simply guided will. Get out there and make it happen.